We are today living in a world where many people do not think there is a need for religion. Many think it is a nuisance, a thing of exploitation, and then there are many who are atheists who don't believe in God or anything. All of them think religion is a kind of racket that exists to dupe mankind to serve the interests of certain categories of people. Why is there religion? Well, there must have been a need at some time. They say necessity is the mother of invention. So there must have been some need for religion, and that's why it is there. And I was reading Rabindranath Tagore. In one place he says that there are two aspects of life. One is material, and the other that is beyond material. That is when we have exhausted our energies towards fulfillment of our daily needs and ambitions and work. You give your everything to achieve something, your ambitions. And then there is still some feeling of unfulfillment. That fulfillment is got after you give up everything. That what you think is success, what you think is joy, and what is happiness and things like that in material life, actually when they go away, you feel as if you are more happier inside somewhere, and that you have been liberated from some bondage that you were caught in. That bondage is what we say is Maya. The Maya, the body, the mind, the intellect, the ego, the senses, everything is a way of bondage. It's a thing of bondage. These are things of bondage that bind the human being to the world, to the needs of creation, because the creation has to go on. So these bondages have to exist. Unless these bondages exist, there will be no creation. If everybody gives up everything, there cannot be creation. So the creation process has to go on, and for that, these bondages, the Maya is there. Now, spirituality cannot be denied because we know that we are beyond ordinary human beings. Who are you? You are not this body, not the mind, not the nose, not the eyes. You are beyond all these things. And what is that thing? That is what Shankaracharya says. Think what you are. Kate kanta kaste putra samsara mutiva vichitra. Kasya tvam vakat ayat. Sattvam chintestadiya brata. As Moha Mudgare says that. Because people study the Shastras. Studying the Shastras is something, but actually practicing religion is a different thing. And you just keep studying the books and all that. You read all the books on cricket or something, and you don't become a cricket expert. You can't play cricket. You might become a TV commentator or something, and analyze games and things like that. But you can't be a player. Learn some musical instrument. You might know all the notes and things like that. Unless you can get it in your hand and get out the right tone, the tunes, if you can't play it, then it's all useless. So in religion also, you have to master the thing. As Sri Ramakrishna said, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, someone has come from the village and he has brought a small chit, and in it says, please send a sari or bring a sari and some sweets for the house. So that chit, you just read it, understand, and throw it away. And then the thing is, you have to do what is written. So that doing is important. The chit itself, you read it 100 times, the meaning doesn't change, and you don't go beyond that. And Shastras are like that. So Shankaracharya keeps saying that thing, nahi nahi rakshati dukran karani. So until ultimately you will have to develop bhakti. Shankaracharya, the Jnani, the Advaitin, he says you develop bhakti to the feet of God and devote yourself to Him and take His name. Only then you will be free, you will get mukti. Otherwise, you won't. They're simply reading the books and all. That's why people don't progress. They do their usual routines as a kind of, what do you say, as a chore, a daily chore, doing it. I did this, I did that, things like that. And why is nothing happening? They complain also, become old and all that. They keep reading the books and things like giving lectures. They would know everything, slokas and things like that. But coming to the actually practically, they don't do anything. So that is why they don't get anything. God realization is not beyond our reckoning, beyond our reach, because we are basically spirit. We are not this body. So it should be easy for us. But because we are misguided by Maya, we go after different things like a mirage, like these insects that rush into the fire, that fly into the fire, though they know they probably, I don't know whether they know or something, but they're going to burn definitely. And Sri Ramakrishna gives the example of the camel eating cactus and bleeding from the mouth, and then still eating that, just like these people of the world in the samsara, in family, householders and all that. Samsara does not mean only household, samsara means the material world. So in that, they keep suffering, but still there is some hope that they will get over it. And for that, like buying a lottery ticket 100 times, every time you lose or get 5 rupees or something, and you think you'll get more the next time, so you keep buying. That kind of hope keeps you on, like this. Actually, it is like the horse and the cart, The cart fellow sits and holds out a carrot in front of the thing, horse on on a stick, at the end of a stick, and the horse just wants to eat the carrot and keeps going just because it is there. That is how this thing works. And if that carrot doesn't work, then you get a whack on the back. That is how samsara, the Maya, that is what works. If you're not doing something, and then you get into such a situation that you're forced to do it, or you are attracted into something that you do it. So somehow the requirements of creation have to be done. Reproduction has to happen, and the world has to happen, the progeny have to come, and creation has to go on. That is how this Maya works. That is why the animals and birds and all that, they do it naturally, they don't have anything else, but they say that after 100,000 births, a human being is born, and he is born, and his duty is to realize God. A man, nobody else, not even a god, a devata, can realize God, realize Brahman, unless he gets a human body. So, a person who is fortunate to get a human body, he has to work towards realization. And then he has no fear of death, because he is not going to die, he is not the body. As Sri Krishna says in the Gita, that it can't be burnt, it can't be wet and things like that. You can't cut it. So that is what you are. Who's going to, you're not dying, you're there, always you are there. The body dies, the body goes, just like tattered clothes, you just throw it away and then take new clothes. So that is why rebirth is there. We believe in Sanatana Dharma. So rebirth is that thing that we keep getting born. So who cares for the body? In the West, they say the person gave up the ghost. In India, it is not give up the ghost. We give up the body. We just give up the body, and the thing is free. We are free after that. The body is a bondage. That much we have to understand. And these religions are only so many paths. They are only, Sri Ramakrishna gives the example of having to climb a roof of a house. You can climb it using the ladder, bamboo ladder. You can climb it with a rope. You can climb it by the staircase. Whoever finds which way comfortable. An old man may have to be carried onto the roof. That's a young boy may run up a bamboo pole itself. He can manage. So that's how it is. You have to reach the top. These religions are paths like that. If you want to go to Dakshineshwar, you can go by bus, you can go by train, you can go by auto, you can go by bike, you can go by walk, So it depends on your convenience. You choose. Again, Sri Ramakrishna says, the mother knows which child likes what. So she makes provisions for everyone. Someone likes sweet, someone likes sour, someone likes spicy stuff. So that's what religions are, different paths. And the same thing is there in Shiv Mahimna Stotra, just like rivers, which Swami Vivekananda, chanted at the Chicago conference. These rivers, wherever, whether straight or crooked and things, they all go to the same sea. So these paths are like that. So we don't concern. Sanatana Dharma is very open. It is never, there is a thing, let noble thoughts come from every side. And then truth is one. The wise call it by different names. Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti, things like that. So there is no problem at all. All is that everybody can practice their thing and then get there. You can't say that no other path is true, only mine is true, like Sri Ramakrishna used to say that everyone thinks only his watch is right. That is not true, everyone knows. And that is the trouble with religion. That's why there is intolerance and all that. And Sanatana Dharma has always been very liberal, very, accepting. It takes, just engulfs everything. You think of any religious thought anywhere, even atheism or hedonism or anything, everything falls into our realm. Because we are not narrow-minded, and the religion adapts to new situations. There may be places where you don't get certain flowers, certain offerings you cannot make, everything, and certain days you can't observe because you're in a foreign country or something. Everything, there's a provision. You can do this, that, so that there is no feeling of guilt. You have to do, the main thing is what you think mentally. Mentally you have to be free, because every bondage is finally in the mind. Because once the mind is free, then you are a free man. So the mind should accept everything, accept reality. That person is like he is, and he has his right to be like he is. And I can be like I am. I don't want to be like him, or he does not have to be like me. Not all flowers have to be roses or marigolds or something. Just because I like it, it has the right. Let there be so much variety. It is fun, and nature is good with so much variety. So that is how it is. And these religions are only paths, and every path has been devised according to geography, history, economy, and the culture, the tradition that a person grows into. So, and the food also, some places this food is prohibited and that is allowed and things like that. Even that is because of these factors. So it doesn't matter if you're in India, you don't have to behave like you're an Arab, apply coal and wear all kinds of dresses, because it is not suitable to this weather. There they cannot take a bath, they have to apply all kinds of scents and all that. But in India you don't have to, you can take a bath every day, there's enough water. So, but people think that is religion. These outside things, that is not religion. Religion is the paths, they have to follow. And spirituality is what you need. If you want to reach God, anyone can reach Him. And there are different paths. So first of all, you have to decide which is the path suitable to you. You can take, there is bhakti and jnana and karma and things like that, or dhyana. You can follow whichever is suitable to your mental, aptitude. Aptitude is important. All our varnas are based on aptitude. Aptitude is very important. So once you like drawing or singing or whatever, if you have a job like that, then you're going to love it. It won't mean work for you. Just enjoy and, you sing and dance all your way through your career. So that's how it is. So even religion is like that. Your aptitude, choose whichever yoga you want. Another thing is, these yogas, all of them, they also use the senses. We have these indriyas. So the indriyas are used, bhakti yoga, these things, the feelings that we have, the emotions, all these are put into use. Our mental power, our skill with the hand, skill with the mind, skill with the brain. These things are used in different ways. They are categorized into these yogas, See each one of them. So you have to choose whichever is suitable to you. And if you have a guru who can guide you, that will be good. But don't read all kinds of things. One trouble with intellectual people, people who have been educated a little, they want to read everything and know everything. They know where somebody was born and when he went there and this and that. All that information is not important. You have to get to the gist. You have no time. Life is short. You have to achieve everything soon. So just get up and go. Do your regular whatever you have to do, japa, dhyana, and all that. And see that if you're very serious, you have to get down to it. Whichever thing you do, if you want to play, be a good player, you have to slog, you have to train. So the same thing for a singer or whatever, a scholar, you have to do it. Because ultimately, whether you're religious or not, you have to excel. And your field, when you excel, you reach the peak. And the peak is the same. You may call it by different names, but the joy you get, the feeling, it is not of this body. That you must realize, that person who comes first in the Olympics or something, he gets a joy that is felt in the spirit. It is not this thing bodily manifestation. So we realize that ultimately it is that you have to excel. Being a human being means you have to excel in whatever is easy for you, whatever naturally comes to you. So that's what it is. And religion, these are different paths, and there's no problem with that. Anyone can follow the path suitable to him, and he will reach the same place. Someone may go early, someone may reach late. So just like reaching some place, but it depends on his aptitude. If he's got into the right path, then there won't be any problem. Life will be smooth. So that is how it is.